Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
War, and more war. Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. They tell you there's peace everywhere. They're negotiating. They're working on it. We got a ceasefire. No problem. The strait's open. Folks, I don't mean to be rude, but it's all a big old absolute con game. It is bogus. Dishonest claim the strait's open. Iran still controls the strait, folks. The U.S. blockade is still in place. Don't fool yourselves for 1 second. Ships can pass only under Iran's direction, while U.S. restrictions on Iranian ships remain. It's a double blockade still, folks. It's got this temporary, very tenuous, partial kind of open under very extreme temporary conditions. The Senate fails to block Trump's arms sales to Israel. So while we're claiming peace, we're arming the heck out of Israel right now. And Congress agreed to go ahead. The ceasefire, the negotiations, the blockade, they're all a big lie, folks. Every bit of it. NATO's reluctant to engage in the Iran war. You still got Russia and, the Ukraine fighting. How on earth did Iran shoot down an F-35? We claim we locked them all down. They don't have any capabilities anymore. The war's almost over. Well, then how come we keep sending troops? How come we're arming Israel? How come they knock down an F-35? How does that happen? Dr. Bradley with me, freedomsrisingsun.com to break this down. How on earth did this F-35 go down? You were talking about heat seeking capabilities, and they're discovering all of our signatures, right? Uh-oh, we lost Dr. Bradley. Okay, we'll try to get him back. Nevertheless.
Are you hearing me now, Sam?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, well, we're giving away hundreds of billions of dollars of technology, not only disarming ourselves by using up all our armaments, but the technology behind the stealth. And, if human beings can, if they can, invent some kind of something, I don't know if you're building a bunker or if you're building a stealth aircraft. If we invented it, somebody else is going to figure out a way to overcome it. And that's what we're doing. We're exposing all of our secrets whenever we launch on these things. But here's one good thing, though, Sam, maybe. I know time flies, but all of these lies, more darn lies, are so prolific on this whole process. Truth is the first casualty of war. There's one good thing about it, perhaps, and that is this. So many people believe the lies that the stock market might not fall through into the tank. The gas prices might not rise quite so quickly because people are saying, peace is just around the corner. And of course, Trump is saying, it'll be over very shortly. He's been saying that since about the first day. And the fact is that there are gullible people that continue to say, hope springs eternal, and we're going to go with that and all that kind of stuff. And so, the happy days are here again.
The onerous burden of war will absolutely rear its ugly head. You can only hide it and pretend for so long. So that's reality. Internally, though, they're ready to reauthorize FISA 702, spy on every American. And they claim they're not going to, but they got a deadline of the 20th of April. So, they got the weekend to solve this thing. They've already kind of did this temporary thing to give themselves more time and everything else. They're going to sell us down the river and spy on us even more, Doctor.
The FISA thing is really an interesting enigma. Another broken promise by Donald Trump. He wanted FISA 702 to be deep sixed. And he had it used against him, honestly, for the Russiagate thing. And people got caught in that snare. We got to get rid of it. Well, now he's saying, give me a clean bill. I just want FISA 702 reauthorized. What the heck is FISA 702? Basically, FISA is an unconstitutional court. The Supreme Court Chief Justice, Roberts, is the guy that names these judges. It doesn't go through the presidential nomination and the confirmation through the Senate. So it's unconstitutional from the get-go. But here's the deal. This court is a rubber stamp of requests for warrants. And I could give you statistics, the latest I've got and everything. It's less than 0.2% get rejected, okay? But here's the deal. It's supposed to only be looked at foreign entities if they want to, get a warrant for, let's say they're going to trap and trace or somehow, follow their electronic communications. But if an American is named somewhere in there, and I could give you scenarios about where that might happen.
AKA Russian hoax. Everybody's got it.
The Russia thing. An American name gets mentioned in that,
Donald.
in the stuff that they have trapped. That American becomes a target with no warrant. And so, the Fourth Amendment stuff goes by the wayside instantly.
And it's very easy because if you say Sam and Scott are talking about the Iran war, they're calling it bogus. They're saying that we're being dishonestly dealt with. See, now that's international discussions, and Sam and Scott are named. Therefore, you can use FISA 702 to go after Sam and Scott on that alone.
Well,
right?
and the fact of the matter is that it is being done that way. Now, they keep reauthorizing it. It's in there. And the last time they reauthorized it, they said, let's just do it permanently. We don't need to worry about this anymore. Yeah. We've had problems with this in the past, but we're doing better training. That was their solution. They were training their agents better to not abuse it.
Yeah, they're covering their tracks better, is all they're doing.
Yeah, that's the problem. There are no substantive changes in anything. And consequently, it keeps getting reauthorized, and they've been pressing to do it permanently. So they never have to think about it again. It is.
Well, and that's what's probably going to happen under Donald Trump's watch. You never know where Donald stands on this. Is he for or against FISA? The answer is he's for it. Is he for or against 702? The answer is he's for it. And the proof is in the pudding. When it comes down to the wire, where does he stand? Actions speak louder than words, ladies and gentlemen. Now, here's the question. Can Congress expel members? We'll talk about that in a second. We, the people, can expel Congress, though. All you got to do is vote against them, people. Vote every one of these people that back FISA or back 702. Get them out of there, people. Unless we, the people, do it, we're just going to keep getting what we've always got, Doctor.
Well, the question comes up, can we get rid of them? Yes, you can by the vote, and we should. All 435 of them are up for grabs this November.
The only one I'd probably keep would be the one Donald hates.
Yeah. If Massey can stay, that's a good thing.
I'd keep Massey. The rest of them I'd jettison. They're no good.
But Article 1, Section 5, Clause 2 of the Constitution is very specific about this. See, House members and senators cannot be impeached. They can't. And so we could talk about how that is and why that is and all that kind of stuff. But they have a responsibility to clean their own house. And so this Article 1, Section 5, Clause 2 says each House, that's House and Senate, may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3 expel a member. So they can, by a vote of 2/3 within their own body, kick somebody out. Now, we just had Gonzalez and Swalwell, or whatever his name is, that resigned. They were on the verge of potentially being expelled. There were a couple other peoples, a Democrat and a Republican, because they're trying to keep this, politically equitable, that are still on the sites. But here's the deal, Sam. In the discussions about these things, because of all their sexual dalliances, there is a secret congressional slush fund that they can pay off individuals that are sexually harassed or assaulted or whatever, and they pay it out of taxpayer dollars when a congressman or senator somehow gets involved in this kind of stuff, okay? And so people are saying now, wait. So these guys have no consequences. They can write a check to somebody that was sexually harassed or assaulted, and they merry-go-round. And so there's a movement now to say, let's take a look at those books on that. Let's look at who have been paid out, by whom, and for what, and let's say where this money's going, because it is taxpayer dollars. And in the interest of, open, books and everything else like that, let's take a look at this. And I hope, and literally, I would pray that somehow, some way, this might get the light of day, and so we can quit playing for the. I mean, you
Not gonna
remember
happen.
back in 1993, where Joe Biden was accused of sexually assaulted. What was her name? Sarah? No, let's see. It was Tara Reid. That was her name, I think. Tara Reid. Anyway, she was quite explicit in explaining what happened with Joe Biden.
Just like
in
the
the
girls were
hallways.
about Bill Clinton, right?
Well, yeah, that's true, but Bill wasn't in the House and Senate. But Joe Biden, by the way, at that time in 1993, was working with Orrin Hatch, the infamous Orrin Hatch from Utah, in writing the Violence Against Women's Act. And here was a woman being assaulted in the hallways of the Senate office building by Joe Biden, the future Vice President of the United States. Holy Hannah. I mean, this is
Liberty
you can't
Roundtable
make this
Live.
stuff.
Are you watching what's happening in our country and asking, what can I do? Join the John Birch Society in Salt Lake City, June 6th, for a powerful one-day conference. The day includes a host of respected speakers, 2 meals, and meaningful connections. You'll gain clarity on the issues and walk away with practical steps you can take to your community. Reserve your seat today at jbs.org/SLC26. That's jbs.org/SLC26.
Recent studies show that parents who smoke in the home are more likely to have children who smoke.
Yes, in fact, my brother, he's 22 now. He told me and my father that's why he started smoking. One of the reasons why he started smoking is because my dad was around, and they saw my dad smoking. My dad said, "Okay, I don't want you to smoke. I don't want you to watch what I'm doing."
Recent studies also show that in homes where parents don't smoke, their children usually don't smoke either.
I am the way I am because my grandparents taught me what not to do. They gave me morals. They gave me belief. They gave me something to believe in. They just taught me well. I love them. I do.
Smoking. If you think you're old enough to start, you're smart enough to stop. A public service message from this station and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Okay, so members of the House and the Senate can be expelled by 2/3 of their own body. There's a process for doing that. There is an ethics committee that examines those kinds of things. They don't do a good job, I don't believe. There is a slush fund that is used to pay off sexual, shall we say, indiscretions of people that claim it happened to them. And the U.S. taxpayers are paying for these things. I mean, this is Jeffrey Epstein stuff right within our own House and Senate. And I hope that with the light that's being shined on this now, with some of the improprieties that are happening, and I mean, I'm sure there's thousands of them. I mean, Sam, you and I, you may remember back in, I think it was 2017, we walked through all of the hallways of the House and the Senate. And one thing that I was struck by was the young women that were and it was not in a favorable way, by the way. I think they had some costume system that they had there when somebody came on as a new intern or a staffer. Okay, here's how your dress is going to fit or not fit so good. Here's how your high heels have got to be this way. You've got to have your makeup put on by a putty knife, whatever. They look like streetwalkers by and large. And I just was shocked at I don't know if it's a fantasy world for most of these senators and congressmen where they just
Not
like
the reality world. Their banks are getting full, buddy. Their bank accounts are growing up and away. It's reality big time.
I wouldn't send my daughter to be a staffer for a Congress critter. I mean, and it's just one of those. It's a slimy environment.
No doubt about it. All right. Do you guys know when the last expulsion was done? It was George Santos, December 1st, 2023. So it hasn't been that long ago. The vote was 311 to 114, well above the required 2/3 majority. Ethics tied to fraud, misuse of campaign funds, not to mention multiple criminal investigations. I don't really think a whole lot happened to him, but expulsion is very rare, even though it can happen. just so everybody understands, Santos became only the 6th member that was ever expelled from the House. The Senate, by the way, has expelled about 15 members, mostly, or most of them during the Civil War. So there you have it, Dr. Bradley. It can be done, but it's very rare to answer the question.
And just as a little side note, this partisanship kind of thing. Some of you, most of you probably don't, but back in May of 1969, Abe Fortas, one of LBJ's cronies, he had helped LBJ in his election fraud, get elected to the Senate, ultimately. Fortas was appointed to the Supreme Court, a whole bunch of violations, ethics in every other way, and he was being investigated for impeachment, okay? Now, they've tried once before. I mean, Samuel Chase, I think, was the first one they really tried in 1803, but you haven't expelled Supreme Court justices. Fortas was going to be booted. And the problem was that William Douglas, another Supreme Court justice, was on thin ice just as well. And Nixon was kind of pushing this. But what happened was, rather than expel 2 Supreme Court justices because they were both of the same political ilk, there was agreement that Fortas would resign.
Impeach justices, though?
Huh?
Can't they impeach justices, though?
Yeah, right. This was an impeachment process.
Let's be clear. So when you say expel, that's what happens to members of Congress. You can impeach these judges.
That's correct. And it was going to happen. And they were going to get 2 Supreme Court justices because of their inconsistent behavior. And that's a very kind way of putting it. But Abe agreed to resign if they would keep Douglas. Okay, Douglas ultimately stayed until 1975, I think, and he was the longest serving justice, I think, in all history. But at any rate, these kinds of things they were trying to say, no, you can't kick 2 of these.
Yeah, you can and you should, ladies and gentlemen.
You should. But they were trying to keep it balanced. 2 Republicans for 2 Democrats.
Yeah, which is a disgrace, and that's where, again, these unconstitutional organizations that are not government, called parties, have special privilege at the trough, and they play all these games. Swalwell drops out. He's a Democrat, so they had to attack a guy from Texas, and now he's out on sexual misconduct as well. So 1 Democrat, 1 Republican out, no harm, no foul. You mirror the same thing today, and it's tragic. But yes, they can expel members, but they won't for the most part. And yes, you can impeach judges, but they won't for the most part. It's up to we, the people, to demand it and insist on it at every election cycle we possibly can. Trump, though, in a sad move, has now selected Dr. Erica Schwartz. She's a physician, and she's a vaccine supporter. She's now going to head up the CDC. This is an attempt by Donald Trump to back away from the vaccine discussions for midterms. And in my humble opinion, it means that Bobby Kennedy really got sold down the river. Doctor?
Well, I agree with you. And we could use several examples of this kind of thing where the Maha movement, and really and truly, when Trump, it was a coup, really, what he did, bringing Bobby Kennedy over. There were some other people he brought over that, were very supportive. And he was literally, I believe, elected because of that behavior. But what he's doing is, again, everything he does, he steps in it. I'll leave it to you for that imagery. But the fact of the matter is, he is just cutting the guts. If the Republicans want to win anything again, probably for the next 8 to 12 years, somebody's got to say, and I'm not saying that Trump is doing something that you'd want to elect him again for, but if there are people that believe that there's better politics under Republicans, I think that they're being sold down the river with what's going on.
Well, I think it sounds a lot better under the Republicans because they're better at the deception. They're better at the sleight of hand than the Democrats are, and so therefore you kind of believe that it's better. But it is the left and right wings of the same bird of prey, as Pat Buchanan wisely said. From the courtroom to disbarred, yeah, John Eastman loses his license to practice law now in this epic election fraud battle. A California court ordered the disbarment of John Eastman over his role in efforts to challenge the 2020 election results concluding his actions violated what they call professional, legal, moral standards. So John Eastman is getting his head handed to him. It's tragic because John, I believe, is a great person. I think he's on target. I think he's doing a great job. But again, this just goes to show where we are, Dr. Bradley. I know we think we're doing really well under the Donald, but I'm telling you right now, we're losing liberties so fast it's not even funny.
Well, remember this happened in California too, didn't it? I mean, California is a dumpster fire. I mean, California really is a dumpster fire. I don't know why anybody'd be running for governor in California right now, because I think the chickens that are going to come home to roost, or however you want to say it, at some point. And California is a disaster, and maybe there's somebody in there that really has a plan to fix it, but they're on a pathway to just a meltdown. And
well, I don't know who's on the pathway faster, California or New York.
True, Mandami is a really interesting guy. I mean, we could talk about. I mean, no, we're running out of time, but his state-run grocery stores. Holy cow!
Isn't that fantastic? You can get government-controlled groceries.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, it's costing them like $30 million to open one grocery store, and they can normally open them for less than $250,000. I mean, I don't understand what the blazes they're doing. I guess.
What part don't you understand? It's government, and they spend into oblivion. I mean, what part of that don't you get?
Yeah, I guess it's just another example, a really good example of a bad example.
Well, there's no question about that. You'll never understand government trying to fulfill the private sector because they can't, they won't, they don't, they never do, and it always goes to disaster every single time.
Yeah, there's very few things that government's good at, and they're usually not really good at those, but they have to do that. I mean, the national defense piece, okay? I mean, you look at the Constitution. Evil, right? There's very few things delegated to the general government. And there's reason for that. The rest of the stuff is supposed to be left to the states or the individuals. And that doesn't mean the states can fill in all the other blanks. What it means is that they have limits and bounds too, that it's appropriate for the state to be involved in, or your county or your municipality. But redistribution of wealth, this idea of being in the private enterprise, the idea of running businesses as a government is just not right. And when Trump seized some of the production control for the COVID con thing, he was doing the wrong thing. That's a form of fascism or a form of communism. And I don't know why we can't see what history can demonstrate to us if we're willing to think about the historical perspective that they're violating. It's just bizarre to me. We don't learn from history.
Well, some of us learn from history. And some of us try to use everything within our power to make sure that Americans understand what we've learned from history. There are solutions, ladies and gentlemen, but look, unless we turn to God Almighty, those solutions will fall on deaf ears. The answer is God, family, country, in that order for a reason. And we need to literally turn to those things. And when Congress basically promotes funding Israel with just massive armaments, when they lie and claim peace, when they really mean war and all this kind of stuff, it's we the people that need to turn them out and find other people who do understand the supreme law of the land, who will honor their oaths of office, who will demand a separation of powers vertically and horizontally across this country, and who will chain down all bureaucrats with the supreme law of the land, the Constitution, and any law that purports to upset or overtake or replace the supreme law needs to be absolutely articulated that it goes down in flames. It's a law that never was. It's pretend legislation. It's totally bogus. Sooner that we the people understand the supreme law of the land and demand pure application thereof, then we'll be in good shape if we turn to God Almighty. But otherwise, we're in serious trouble. For Dr. Scott Bradley, freedomsrisingsun.com, I'm Sam Bushman, libertyroundtable.com, lovingliberty.net. Check us out on Rumble, YouTube, we're everywhere, baby. Spread the word, share the love, and God save the Republic of the United States of America.